So, in 2025, there's this really fascinating economic story unfolding in a country that, let's be honest, most people connect with just one thing: natural gas. But if you look behind the headlines, you'll see Turkmenistan is making a huge strategic pivot. The numbers tell a story of a deliberate plan to reshape its future, and today, we're going to break down exactly how it's all happening.
All right, let's kick things off with a single, massive number. A positive trade balance of $4.4 billion in 2025. Now, for any economy, that's a pretty big deal. But for Turkmenistan, it's a signal of something much, much deeper going on. So what's behind this huge surplus?
Well, to put it simply, the country sold $12.7 billion worth of stuff to the world, but it only bought $8.3 billion worth of stuff back. That $4.4 billion difference, that's the engine powering this whole economic shift. But this isn't just a story about selling more. It's a story about selling different.
For decades, if you asked what Turkmenistan sells, the answer was always the same: gas. Easy. But 2025 shows that's changing. A whole new engine is starting to fire up inside the Turkmen economy, and believe me, it's changing the entire export picture.
Okay, so to really get what's changing, we've got to look at the before picture. As recently as 2024, their entire economy was basically built on three things: petroleum gases, refined oils, and fertilizers, which are made from that gas. Altogether, that was over 91% of everything they sold. I mean, that's the classic definition of being dependent on one resource.
But that kind of dependency, well, that's exactly what the country is now trying to break away from. And this isn't an accident. It's a very deliberate, very calculated change in strategy.
And here's what that strategy actually looks like on the ground. The government is pushing a huge shift away from just exporting raw materials to selling finished products. So instead of just shipping out raw cotton, they're making and selling textiles. Instead of just growing crops, they're selling processed foods. It's a classic and absolutely crucial move up the economic value chain.
So who's buying all this new stuff? An economy doesn't just transform in a vacuum, right? Turkmenistan's pivot is really being defined by its key trading relationships. You could call it a tale of three partners: one absolute giant, one old friend making a comeback, and one brand new game-changing alliance.
First up, the dominant partner, China. And look, you just can't understand Turkmenistan's economy without understanding this relationship. China isn't just a partner, it is the partner. It's like the sun in their economic solar system.
And the sheer scale of this is, well, it's staggering. Almost 70% of everything Turkmenistan sells to the entire world goes to one country, China. A concentration like that creates both incredible opportunities and, of course, pretty significant risks. It shapes almost every major economic decision they make.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this makes Turkmenistan pretty unique in its neighborhood. While its neighbors are running these huge trade deficits with Beijing, Turkmenistan has a massive surplus of over $7 billion. And yeah, that's almost all driven by natural gas, which gives the country a really powerful and unique economic position.
Next, you have the resurgent partner, Russia. Trade between them jumped by an incredible 58% in early 2025. But the real story is in this quote from the Deputy PM. It's not just about selling more, it's about selling smarter. The focus is shifting to processed goods, things like fruits, veggies, and textiles, not just raw resources.
And then there's this incredible new alliance with Uzbekistan, which has been nothing short of historic in 2025. I mean, in February, a free trade regime just kicks off, getting rid of most customs duties. Then, by November, boom, the two presidents are launching this massive new cross-border trade zone. This partnership is quickly becoming a real cornerstone of trade in the region. Okay, so all of this growth with China, Russia, Uzbekistan, it just doesn't happen on its own. It's all being powered by a massive upgrade to the country's plumbing, so to speak. We're talking about a digital revolution that's making trade faster, cheaper, and way more efficient. You know, the old way of doing things, it was a total logistical nightmare. Just imagine trucks stuck at the border for days, buried under actual physical mountains of paperwork for every single shipment. It was a huge bottleneck, just holding back the country's potential.
So, what's the solution? A complete digital overhaul. The goal is simple, really. Make physical paperwork obsolete and just let the goods flow across borders with as little friction as possible.
And they're doing this using a whole new digital toolkit with internationally recognized systems. You've got ASYCDUA World, which lets customs see cargo info before a truck even shows up. TIRE PD helps streamline things for trucks that are just passing through.
And the new ECMR protocol makes the whole shipping note digital, no more paper.
And get this isn't just some small test program. The impact is huge, and it's happening fast. By September 2025, over 75% of all goods coming into Turkmenistan were being processed with this new electronic system. That is an incredibly rapid and transformative adoption rate.
All right, so let's pull all of this together. What do we have? We've got a diversifying export base, shifting trade partnerships, and a digital revolution in logistics. It all puts Turkmenistan at this massive billion-dollar crossroads, facing huge opportunities, but also some pretty serious challenges.
And that really gets us to the core tension here. On one hand, the challenges are clear as day. That heavy dependence on hydrocarbons and on a single customer, China. The IMF has also warned about their overvalued currency, which could make their new exports seem expensive. But on the other hand, the opportunities are just massive, becoming a key transit hub for trade, building on these new partnerships, and continuing to create more complex industries at home.
Which leaves us with the big final question, right? The foundations they laid in 2025 are seriously impressive. New trade deals, digital customs, growing exports that aren't just gas. But can they actually build on them? Can they leverage these new digital highways and diplomatic friendships to finally pivot away from their old dependencies and become a truly diversified, resilient player in Eurasian trade? The answer to that is going to define their entire economic future.